In the heart of Yorkshire, our health service is hard at work.
Emergency department, Barnsley Hospital.
Just relax, mate.
A dedicated team.
Stop making me laugh.
Working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Look forward for me.
Trainee coming through.
Ready for anything.
I think I've just about got it cracked, this job.
And everything.
Everybody clear?
Any pain at all?
No.
Still alive, still alive.
Well, you're stuck with me now.
Wow.
I know.
I'm down, bless.
Lucky you well.
Facing life
We're back from the moon.
and death. Trauma
Are you going through it out?
and tears.
I know.
Supporting each other through the toughest shifts.
God help me today.
I'm not coming home till it's lovely and warm and
Is this cut then? Is it like this big or is it like this big?
It's big. Buckingham Palace one day, Barnsley Hospital next.
Oh, lovely.
It's like champagne.
This is Barnsley Casualty 24/7.
God bless the NHS.
On shift tonight, Sister Jane.
Chloe, just swab him, scan him, CDU.
Registrar Eamon Staunton.
Sometimes with this kind of collapse in the fast heart rate, it can be because of a blood clot in your lung.
And advanced clinical practitioner Chantel.
Can I have a look at your head? Is that okay? I can see it. You've got a good bruise.
So get ready to share a shift
rock on, man.
I just lose the will to live.
with the team at Barnsley Casualty.
All done.
Oh man, look how many's booked in.
It's late morning and the start of a busy shift for Sister Jane.
That's a massive wave.
Nearly 50 people have walked into Casualty in the last hour and a half and are waiting for assessment.
18, 19, 20.
Government guidelines suggest that anyone coming into Casualty should be assessed within 15 minutes. They're way behind, but doing everything they can.
Look, I've got a 2-hour waiting assessment. Thanks, lovely. Bye. Heart attacks can just walk in, stroke victims can just walk in, trauma falls can just walk in. You know, somebody could be sat in the waiting room like that. So we need to clear these walk-ins because we don't know what's sat in the waiting room.
To add to the pressure, one of those walk-in patients has collapsed in the toilet and been rushed straight to resus. Registrar Eamon Staunton is attending. Michelle is 36 and pregnant.
So you've collapsed today, is that right?
I've collapsed in toilets, yeah.
So what? Tell me about that. What happened?
I've been back and forth to the doctors since positive.
Michelle thought she might have COVID, but after testing negative, she visited her GP.
Antibiotics.
He spotted abnormalities in her heart rate and sent her straight to Casualty.
So you're walking to
I
the
walked into the
toilet.
cubicle and that's something I remember.
And you did you feel dizzy or anything
I felt
beforehand?
dizzy and lightheaded.
Any pain in your chest at all?
Just a lot of pressure, heaviness, achiness. Can I look?
Have you had a cough at all?
Yeah, I've had it for the last 2 weeks.
And you know, if you're lying flat at night, are you okay?
No. No,
See-
ridiculous. If I laid flat, I can barely breathe.
Are you waking up in the middle of the night, breathless at all? Or?
I'm not sleeping.
And
for
what wakes
an
you
hour.
up?
The cough.
The cough, fine.
And the fact that I feel like I'm restricted on my airways.
Michelle is 18 weeks pregnant with her 4th baby.
Right, can I get you to sit forward for me if that's okay?
None of her other pregnancies had complications.
So, big breath in. And out. Just have a quick listen to your heartbeat.
Just go to sleep.
Your heart is going fairly quickly. You know, your heart rate will goes up a little bit in pregnancy, but not massively, no.
Sorry.
Sometimes with this kind of collapse in the fast heart rate and things, it can be because of a blood clot in your lung.
Blood clots are 5 times more likely during pregnancy, but that's not Dr. Staunton's only worry.
The other thing is whether sometimes when you're pregnant you can get things called cardiomyopathies, which is where you get the problems with the muscle, the heart.
Both conditions are extremely dangerous for mother and baby.
Hi, it's I'm one of the A&E registrars. I was wondering if there's any other echo sonographers around that I could talk to.
Dr. Staunton orders an urgent scan.
She's got an echo, yeah. She's got a murmur as well, just over the aortic area.
Just overwhelmed, to be honest. Not coping with it, to be fair. Just over myself, really.
Michelle's condition is so serious, Dr. Staunton can't let her leave resus for tests.
So we're going to do an ultrasound scan of your heart. They're going to come and do the scan now.
She needs to stay within easy reach of life-saving equipment, so all tests will come to her. In the hub, pressure is rising for Sister Jane and her team.
I honestly don't know what's happened with the session this morning. It seems like chimpanzees having a tea party, as far as I can tell.
She's battling a 2-hour wait for walk-ins. And now paramedics have rushed 43-year-old Craig straight to resus. Sister Rachel takes the handover.
So this is Craig. He was eating pork steak and a salad. He said as soon as he swallowed it, it felt like it got stuck straight away. It's going no further than his chest. It's like it's obviously they can't breathe. What do you do?
I work in a soft place, but my hobby's karate, so I'm normally fit and well.
Yeah. No. Craig, what's your surname?
Bond.
As in James Bond?
Yeah.
Is it? I thought it was Pond. Okay then, Craig. Sort you out in here, love, alright. Craig, have you got any pain or is it uncomfortable?
When I get a build-up, windows will make it hurt.
Craig's blockage is not shifting. Dr. Tom Hawthorne needs to work quickly.
My name's Tom, I'm going to do a doctor. Let's have a quick listen to your back while you're in that position.
Feels like it's about there.
Oh yeah, sure.
I can't get knocked down. I tried having a drink.
Yeah, sure. There's nothing
And
going down.
it just fills up and comes straight back up. It's just stuck.
Craig is in pain. The blockage is so severe, he can't even swallow water. The team needs to clear it, and fast.
Have you seen Charlotte?
At Barnsley Casualty, Sister Jane is wrestling with the number of patients waiting to be assessed.
Becca, just swab him, scan him, CDU.
Staff need to be diverted from other areas to help, but it's lunchtime and some are having their break.
Kim, have you had your dinner, love? I don't know. Who's gone? Charlotte's gone and I've just sent Chloe. Right, so I'll wait then. Oh, so there's you and Georgia.
Georgia's been, but
Yeah.
it's only me and Georgia at minute.
The departments are always busier at lunchtime, or that's how it seems. But it's important that we all eat because you physically can't do your job if you don't. I'll have a look. Just bear with me, sweetie.
Someone else struggling this lunchtime is 43-year-old Craig. He still has a piece of meat stuck in his esophagus.
Oh, bloody stupid things.
No, do you know what? It is just one of those unfortunate things. You've just been incredibly unlucky with your dinner.
Fine.
Craig is in severe pain. Dr. Hawthorne is worried the trapped food could be causing internal injuries.
Is that painful there?
It just seems to be
Just there.
right here.
Fine.
He orders an X-ray
Write down today.
so he can take a look.
Great. Breathe in now. Hold it there.
The X-ray will reveal the extent of the damage the trapped food might have caused, but for now, they must wait.
Unfortunately, there's not a great deal we can do for it here. Either it's going to come out on its own, or we'll need to go in with a scope and grab it and pull it out. Unless it's caused significant injuries to your esophagus or your stomach, it might be something that will happen tomorrow morning rather than something that would happen overnight. So essentially we just need to get you as comfortable as we can and sort of prepare you for a bit of a rough night.
Honest to God, I don't know what's gone off, I don't know what's happened.
Sister Jane and her staff are struggling to ease the backlog of walk-in patients.
Claire, are you all right to come out and help in assessment, love, now? Thanks.
Patients are still arriving by ambulance too.
No party casualty.
So staff needed to clear the backlog are also needed there.
We don't have any resource beds at the moment, so if you come to the pub and just let us know as soon as you're here.
Paramedics are blue lighting in a 91-year-old woman who's fallen at home and banged her head. Jean has been brought in with her son Philip. Advanced clinical practitioner Chantel is on hand to assess her.
You alright?
She can't hear you at all, so I'll interpret.
Perfect, that's
She's
fine.
completely deaf.
Oh, is she? Okay, does she lip read?
She does lip read.
Okay, that's fine. Hello? My name's Chantel. Okay, Chantel.
Jean became deaf after having pneumonia when she was 2. She communicates using sign language and lip reading. Hospital interpreters are available for Jean, but she prefers her son Philip to sign.
That's fine. Ask her how she's feeling.
I'm alright on bed.
Okay. And do you have any headache?
Yes,
It's sore, is it? Can I have a look at your head? Is that okay? Right. Ah, I can see.
So the direct glasses.
I know, I can see it. You've got a good bruise.
With support from Philip and carers, Jean lives alone.
So, Jean, what made you fall? What happened?
Ask you what happened this morning.
I was picking up my dressing gown, I threw it over, I fell back. I put my head on a chair.
Oh dear. And one last question. I forgot the question now.
Forgot what she was going to ask you. Making her dizzy.
Remembered.
Right.
Does she normally feel dizzy when she stands up?
When you stand up,
Yes.
you get dizzy.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
She does suffer dizzy spells.
Oh, okay,
Particularly
that's
if she gets up quick.
Right. Put your glasses off for me.
Jean takes blood thinners every day to reduce the chance of clots.
And just look straight forward. Is that okay?
She's on a blood thinner, and that is a big risk for a head injury. Being on blood thinners doesn't thin your blood, it prolongs the time it takes for your blood to clot. So a head injury, that patient could bleed into the brain or the head.
And then look at my pen and follow it.
Intracranial hematoma is potentially life-threatening and requires immediate treatment. So it has to be ruled out. Jean needs an urgent head scan. In Resus, pregnant Michelle has been sent to A&E by her GP because of an abnormally high heart rate.
Sat down in waiting room for 5, maybe 10 minutes, got up to go to the toilet, and that's the last thing I remember. Nurses brought me into Resus.
Dr. Staunton is concerned Michelle might have a blood clot on her lung.
Is there a fall?
She needs a number of tests and scans. Radiology is the first to arrive.
Hi, love it. Is it Michelle, yeah? We're just going to be doing an X-ray of your chest area, okay? Okay, X-ray, everybody. And breathe out now, relax.
Still shattered. I've got three boys, and this one's a girl, so And this is the last one.
Next, cardiology arrives with the ultrasound to check Michelle's heart.
Breathing for me. Breathe out really slowly.
Yeah.
The final tests ordered by Dr. Staunton are bloods.
What are my bloods to show? Like, any kind of infection, any abnormality in there. That is one of the concerns that we've got at the minute. Okay. All right, lovely.
Sorry about your wait, sweetheart. You've not even seen a nurse yet, have you? No.
With long waiting times today, Sister Jane is working hard to keep things moving.
There's a patient in cubicle 14 that needs to go up to the ward. Just keep your hands in there.
On busy shifts like today, porters play a vital role in the smooth running of the department.
Oh, going off on walking up. We have to tie that round your neck now.
New starter Tom is going to have to soak up everything that old hand Phil can teach him, and quickly.
Because that bit's important.
That's important right now, yeah.
I was a car salesman for about 29 years, so it was time for a change.
Cubicle 15 next. We got an X-ray and up to ward as well.
Right,
so I think the nurse has already mentioned.
Yeah.
That way. Right, do you mind just putting your mask on while we're travelling corridors? I don't know if it's a trainee driver. You might be better covering your eyes up. Break off. Right. So flick it up at that side.
Yep. There's a lot of stuff to learn, obviously. One of the things I was most nervous about were these sort of big beds and how to manoeuvre them and stuff, and yeah, it's helping me out a lot.
Portering is quite a physically demanding job. We do primarily work 12-hour shifts.
Oh, excuse me. Trainee coming through.
You're generally pushing a patient in a wheelchair, in a trolley or in a bed, and they're not always little old ladies that you're pushing about.
Told you the slide of it, doesn't it?
Need to get some L plates on.
The good thing is that you do burn a lot of calories, so you can eat as much pizza as you want.
Can I give you an hand round this corner? Look?
Yeah, no worries.
There's always a tea trolley here or something packed up to make the job a bit more difficult for us porters. I'll get trained up on wheelchairs and
these first.
Trolleys first, and then, because beds, you need 2 people, so you're always with a nurse or an auxiliary.
Yeah.
That wasn't too bad, was it? We didn't bounce off many walls, did we?
A relief for Tom. First patient delivered safe and sound. Back in the hub, the red phone is ringing. Paramedics are bringing in 50-year-old Kevin, who's had an accident at work.
I've actually fallen, unloading boxes from a container from not a great height, about 5 foot, but sort of unbalanced and fell on my side. Sort of my natural reaction, I put my arm out to sort of break my fall, and I think that's taken impact.
In his spare time, Kevin plays the guitar, so a damaged wrist is the last thing he wants.
It does look a bit like it's got a bit of kink in it. I'm not bad, mate, it is, yeah.
He's taken straight to X-ray.
Relax your shoulder for me.
Yeah.
I'll put it back on after.
I'm hoping nothing's broken.
Yeah, that'll be fine for what we're doing. All right.
Cheers, pal.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, thank you.
The doctors will have a look at it and they'll tell you the good news or the bad news.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Yeah.
Kevin waits for his X-ray results.
Thank you.
And contemplates his injury.
I play guitar, so I'm gonna be out of action for a while with that light. So that's the only thing I'm worrying about, really. I know it seems a bit silly, but no more rock and roll.
91-year-old Jean is on her way for an urgent head scan. She lives alone. Her carers found her this morning and called her son Philip.
She's been a bit dizzy and she's fell and she's hit her head on a chair in the bedroom. So we're checking that there's no bleeding in her skull.
Will not be long, I promise. Jean, going over, okay? Oh.
Having a bleed on the brain can be dangerous. There's only a certain amount of space in your head that your brain occupies, so any hematoma or collection of blood that gets bigger can push on the brain and cause permanent damage to the brain.
As Jean comes out of the CT scanner, she takes a turn for the worse. The team needs to get to the bottom of Jean's dizzy symptoms as quickly as possible. A bleed on the brain could be life-threatening.
I've just rung Kelly to come and help because it's a 2-hour assessment wait for walk-ins.
At Barnsley Hospital, Sister Jane is wrestling with the overwhelming number of patients in assessment.
You best stay in there until it gets down a little bit. Beth's on a dinner now, so when Beth comes back, I'll send Beth in there as well.
She's calling in extra staff and diverting others to help clear the backlog.
Kim, I've ruled Kelly's coming round because it's a 2-hour assessment wait.
All right, Mum. Don't worry, I'm all right. I'm in hospital. I fell off of this platform. I'm all right. Don't be worrying. I'm not dead.
Back in cubicle 5, Dr. Faisal Khalaf has the results from Kevin's wrist X-ray.
All right, sir?
Right, mate. You all right?
Good.
Yeah.
So I've had a look at your X-ray. It's a very nasty fracture. There's so many pieces, so we'll have to reduce it and fix it with an operation.
Well, it's a bit deflated. I mean, it is what it is, I suppose. I'm busting for a fag.
Hold on to that. These are your notes.
I'll wait till I get out.
While he waits, he's given some pain relief to inhale.
Put them there out and keep puffing away.
Kevin's wrist is so badly shattered, it needs an operation.
That's a nice pen.
But first, the bones have to be manipulated into position and set. So he's moved to the plaster room.
Space, man.
The pain relief seems to be doing its job.
Rock on, man. It's a lot better. Think they'll let me take it home, love?
No, I'm not sure.
No? Why? Peace out, man.
Seems to be doing a check then, doesn't it? That's good.
Dr. Troughton gives Kevin more details of what he's done to his wrist.
What kind of break is it then? Is it?
It's like a crush fracture. So you've broken it. So
Yeah.
the big bone.
Yeah.
It's broken, but it's also been crushed because you've fallen on it. So all the bones kind of like crunched together.
Right.
And you've also got a bit of a fracture on the smaller bone in your wrist as well. One thing you can do to make it feel better is stop smoking. Smoking really bad for bone healing.
You're asking a lot
I
there.
know, but I'll leave that one with you. Is that okay?
That's fine,
No
thanks.
worries.
How are you?
Not bad now. It's just in the wrist, it's in pain.
Okay. So we're going to give you some anaesthetic to block the pain in your wrist, and then we'll try to manipulate it, put it in a better position. So this is just cold spray.
Dr. Khalaf will carry out the painful procedure. First, Kevin's wrist is numbed with a local anaesthetic.
Be kind.
I'll try my best. Don't look. Sharp scratch. Okay, injection's all done. Just give it another 5 minutes.
Okay, mate, no worries. What's the most common break? My age group, I'm 50.
Probably heart.
Broken heart.
I can see injection is working because now you're moving your wrist. Show me. Can you move it up and down? Not too painful?
I can move it that.
Okay. So Rachel, we're going to do some traction now. If you could hold the elbow down.
Yep.
And then, so hold it on the elbow.
Yeah.
And like me. You okay?
That's alright, yeah.
So I'm just going to stay like this for a few
Yeah,
minutes.
that's fine. You can probably tell I've got a high octane athletic physique.
Just keep taking those deep breaths through that.
When Dr. Calaf feels the bones are aligned,
Let's put the cast and keep on track.
his wrist is set in a cast to keep it stable.
It's a common type of break, this.
This is a very nasty one.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Made it into a jigsaw puzzle.
Just about my luck, innit? Yeah, if you're going to do something, do it right, that's what I say.
So I'm just going to wait for it to set now, okay?
Yeah, mate.
It'll take about 48 hours to dry. It takes quite a long while to dry, so just let the air get round it and it will dry naturally, all right?
Okay, mate.
Here you go. Bye, take care, all the best.
Thanks a lot for your help, love, thank you. Okay then, cheers, bye.
Bye.
Kevin is discharged.
You alright to walk?
I think I'll be alright.
You alright? Are you sure?
I do feel a bit nauseous though.
Not wanting to break his other wrist, he plays it safe.
No, I'll have a wheelchair.
Kevin returned 2 weeks later for his operation, where pins and screws were fixed into his wrist bones. He hopes to be back playing his guitar soon.
Hello again, how are you doing?
Back in Rhesus, Dr. Staunton has the results of Michelle's scans.
So, the ultrasound's going to be hard. We're waiting for the formal report, but they said it looked normal. I don't think this is a blood clot, if I'm honest. You know, it's very difficult for us to say that anything's impossible. We sort of deal in what's likely, and I think it's very unlikely at the moment. The things we look for first are the things that are the most important. So, you know, I think it's the more things we check off and say, OK, it's not this, that's the better it is, really. Sometimes one of the best tests we can have is time and just see what happens.
Michelle's heart rate is higher than we'd normally expect in pregnancy, and whilst people in Rhesus and in hospital can be quite anxious and that can increase your heart rate slightly, Michelle's heart rate is higher than we'd expect in a pregnant, anxious person in Rhesus.
I think it's probably worth keeping it in on a monitor, because sometimes your heart can go into funny rhythms which can cause you to collapse. Obviously, when you had your collapsing episode before, you were in the toilet. But now we've got you on here, so if you start to feel unwell or you do collapse again, we can just get a printout of what's going on. Because I think we're still a little bit uncertain as to what exactly is going on. But yeah, anything you want to ask at all at the minute? Or
Totally definitely staying in overnight.
Definitely, I think, yeah, almost certainly staying in overnight. Definitely for the rest of the day, we'll definitely get you up onto the ward.
Michelle spent one night on the ward, where further tests revealed that she had a bout of viral bronchitis. Her heart rate has settled, and she's now back at home, resting.
Number 5, thank you. Is there a cubicle, Richard?
Sister Jane is systematically working through the backlog of walk-in patients.
Chloe, will you do me a favour, sweetheart, and just go into assessment and all the patients that haven't yet been seen, pull them into a cubicle, keep a cubicle for yourself, do the robs, if they're a chest pain, do an ECG, and then put them back into time order so they can be assessed by a nurse. Thank you.
Right, let's have a look what we've got next.
When Casualty is overrun, it impacts the whole hospital. No team more so than the porters. And it's not just about moving patients around.
There's dirty linen bags all the way around the department. There's 2 there, there's 2 over there, there's 2 at the bottom, there's some in Rhesus. So we'll do, when there's no jobs or patient transfers about, we'll have a do a bit of tidying up duty.
Yep.
So, gloves on.
Yep.
Porter Phil is quickly trying to get new recruit Tom up to speed.
Detach it, look. Yep. Pull it off corners, squeeze all air out so it don't take as much room up in trolley. Then we can get more in.
So take it off of there like that.
That's it. It is quite thin, so be careful out here. You not tie balloons when you were a kid?
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it. Forever faffing.
That's it?
Yep.
I think the qualities that make a good porter is you really need to be physically fit. It is quite an intense job. But the other side of it is obviously patient interaction, so you probably need to be quite good at communication.
What did you used to do before then?
I were a barber in Meadow Hall.
I can tell that because you're quite good with patience and
Yeah.
chit-chat, so
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
used to talking to people.
Yeah.
You come across really well.
It helps to be a little bit upbeat. Obviously, nobody wants to talk to a miserable porter.
So you swapped customers for patients?
Patience, that's it. And you know something, when you're talking about patience, I always gonna say customers. It's a weird thing, like, you know what I mean?
Well, I used to sell cars for 30 years, so
It's the same, yeah.
I would say it's been a really good start for Tom. We've done lots of patient transfers. His interaction with the patients has been really good.
This is a less glamorous side to porters.
He seems to got to grips with the equipment as well.
Right, there's 2 more down this side, look.
Yep.
In resus, Craig is still struggling and in pain after a piece of food got lodged in his esophagus.
There's just something stuck and it just don't feel as if it wants to move anywhere. It's just as if there's things trying to get past both ways, but no, it's moving. When it first happened, it was scary, but I were panicking. Obviously, the longer it went on, I knew I had a problem.
Sister Rachel comes to help.
Craig, I'm going to have to pop a cannula in your arm so we can give you some strong painkillers.
No, you won't.
Don't say that around here, Craig. Oh, crikey. We'll try and get you feeling a bit better shortly, OK? So we're going to give you a bit of morphine to help with your pain. It'll also hopefully help relax and settle everything down.
Yeah.
Downside to that is it can make you feel a bit more sick and queasy, so if that happens, please let me know. OK? And we can give you something to counteract that.
I think I had morphine when the jaw got broke.
Were you OK with it?
I wouldn't on another planet.
Right, we'll go easy then. You might feel a bit dizzy, you might feel a bit woozy and lightheaded, you might feel like you've had a few drinks.
I've always been dizzy.
While Sister Rachel helps Craig become more comfortable, Dr. Hawthorne has his X-ray results. He's concerned the trap food could be causing internal injuries.
So what we were looking for or hoping not to see would be air under the diaphragm. So we've got right lung here, left lung here, this is his heart here. These 2 arches here are diaphragms. If there's air under the diaphragm, this will be a very paper-thin line, probably similar thickness to this wire here. But it's like a nice big white block. So there isn't any air under the diaphragm, so there isn't any esophageal or gastric perforation. So we don't need surgeons or anything like that involved. How are we getting on? Is it moving at all, or is it just staying where it is?
I think it's just stayed where it is.
Chest X-ray looks fine, so either a scope or it'll sort itself out. Whichever one of those comes first, essentially, tomorrow.
Can't you just go with the scope now and get
It's
it out?
going now. Unfortunately, it's any kind of life-threatening stuff that they'll scope for. So as bad as it feels, it's not bad enough for that to be the case. That I say it's going to be rubbish overnight. So just need to stay on top of pain relief and just kind of keep you as comfortable as possible. But it is going to be a bit of a rough one, unfortunately. Yeah. All right, I've booked you a bed, so we'll just sort of play the waiting game now. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Terrific. Right.
Craig's pain wasn't long-lived. After a second dose of morphine, he was sick and the food finally dislodged. He was kept in overnight. Further tests revealed he had a pre-existing inflammation of the esophagus caused by allergies. He's awaiting further tests. In Casualty, there's still a huge backlog of walk-in patients.
And then what about cubicle 19 going up, Chloe? You're waiting for the porter.
But another emergency is on its way. Advanced clinical practitioner Chantel takes the call. The patient has been picked up by ambulance from his GP surgery with severe chest pains. 79-year-old former miner Brian was expecting a day of celebration.
Brian's birthday today, isn't it, Brian? He's 79. Been admitted for an NSTEMI, and then for the last 3 to 4 days he's had intermittent central chest tightness, radiating all across when he does have it. Doctor was querying unstable angina.
It's just a bit of tightness. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Got it all going off, haven't you, Brian? Oh well, hopefully they've saved you some birthday cake when you get home.
2 weeks ago, Brian suffered a heart attack while taking a nap at home.
He just came on. I went laid on bed. Well, I didn't know. As soon as she saw me, said, dial 999. That I had a heart attack.
He hadn't had any symptoms leading up to it, and today his GP was worried it might be happening again.
So, Brian, we'll do some blood tests on you, alright? We'll get you to see one of our doctors. Is that okay?
Alright, let's have a look then.
Believe it or not, it's really difficult to tell someone's having a heart attack. Textbook is crushing chest pain, feeling like there's something on your chest, you can't breathe, sweating, nausea, vomiting, pale, clammy. In practice, that does not always exist.
Auxiliary nurse Shauna needs to take some bloods, which will show whether Brian has had another attack or if he's having one right now.
There we go, all finished.
At Barnsley Hospital, Sister Jane is managing a huge backlog of walk-in patients.
Oh, is thingy out now? Kim's back from her lunch. Because he can have an x-ray on the way to the ward, but he's going to need a qualified to take him. Is that all right, love?
She's brought in extra staff, shuffled others around, and the bottleneck is starting to move.
Kelly, cubicle 11's free. He's just going to do me cubicle 10. Cubicle 14 you can have.
Over in paediatrics is 2-year-old Livewire Grace. She's been brought in by her mum Francesca after a fall at nursery.
Always on the go, always having accidents. Goes to nursery and she just does a bit of baby modelling.
The baby modelling will have to be put on hold for a while, as Grace now has a deep cut to her forehead.
Have a seat on these chairs in there.
Sorry, we're both a bit slow.
You're all right. I'm here all day.
Registrar Richard Gentles investigates.
Oh.
Hiya.
So, Francesca and Grace, what's happened?
So Grace tripped in the nursery toilets.
Okay.
And banged her head on the porcelain part of the toilet.
Oh, at the edge of the bowl.
So, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. The seat wasn't down, so.
Dr. Gentles has to check for other head injuries, besides the cut.
Do you know how Grace was when it first happened?
She was crying, but she wasn't sick or she wasn't sleepy or anything like that. Just upset, and then it was bleeding a lot.
Yeah.
So,
No suggestion of loss of consciousness at the time.
no.
So we worry about loss of consciousness, vomiting, confusion, being drowsy, wounds around the back of the head that make us think of underlying fractures. Let's have a little look. Quick look around the back, make sure we're not missing anything else.
A bit of hair.
Yeah, more hair than me. More hair than I anyway. Can I have a little look at your eyes for a second, Grace? Grace, can you look at my face here? Right in there. But she looks nice and alert. She's watching videos on Mum's phone. We look down. And right the way up. She looks like a pretty well 2-year-old kid with a cut on her head. That's much better. Brilliant. Excellent. So we'll patch your wound up and let her go.
Right. Can we give your head a little clean?
Paediatric nurse practitioner Anthony cleans the wound.
Can we wriggle you round a little bit then? Ready? Woo! And woo!
And with the help of paediatric coordinator Sarah, glues it back together.
How long did it take to dry? Seconds. Oh, right, okay.
There we go.
Oh, gosh.
All done.
Thank you.
We've got head injuries, just a few things to look out for. And then there's a bit of advice to stop the glue.
Perfect.
That's it then.
Thank
All
you.
done.
Grace made a full recovery and is now available for any modelling projects. Having been rushed to hospital on his birthday with a suspected heart attack, Brian's test results are back.
The doctor's just been and told me that my blood tests are all right. They're thinking it's angina more than heart attack again.
After collecting new medication for his angina, he made it home in time for his birthday tea. Advanced clinical practitioner Chantel is reviewing the results of 91-year-old Jean's head scan to determine if she's suffered any bleeding or internal damage to her skull.
Right, so I've had a look at her CT scan, it's back.
Look at your scan.
It's normal. There's no fracture and there's no bleed inside.
No breaks, no bleeding.
Jean doesn't have any major head injuries, but her dizziness is still a concern. She lives alone, and if she were to fall again, the outcome could be very different. Clinical practitioner Chantel wants to do another test.
I want one more test, okay? It's just the blood pressure laying down and standing up to see if there's a drop in her blood pressure.
Blood pressure, standing up.
If Jean's blood pressure drops every time she stands up, the falls could become more regular.
Hello. Hello. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you okay? No.
Nurse Mimi will carry out the test.
Okay. Can I come to your arm, sweetie? Excuse me. That looks like a nice blood pressure. Right, so that's the first one done. So what we're going to do now is if you can explain to Mum that we're going to be standing up. There we are. Champion. Right, we're just going to wait for a minute. Can you just tell her she's doing really well?
She says you're doing very well.
She's not happy with me.
No.
So there has been a slight drop. When she was laid down, it was 148 and it's dropped down to 115. There you are, sweetie. Okie doke. Right, I'll give this to the doctor and they can have a look and then we can make a plan. Chantel, we've got this for you, honey.
Oh, thank you.
So she was 148
Yeah.
and then she dropped quite a bit.
But then she
came back
recovered.
up. She felt a bit dizzy, she was a bit shaky, but other than that, she did really well, to be
That's
fair.
fine, thank you.
Okie doke.
With Jean's blood pressure continuing to fluctuate, she was admitted to a ward where she stayed for 14 days.
Are you happy in here?
Yeah.
On your own?
Yeah.
Or do you need Claire?
No, I don't.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, so, and you've had your dinner?
Yeah.
It's been tough, but as her shift comes to an end, Sister Jane finally has the backlog of patients under control.
There's been a massive influx, as you can see, with assessment. So I've got 5 nurses in there and I've had lunches as well. So, but Kelly's out now. There's only me to go, so I'm waiting for Charlotte to come and take me off and then I'll go. We all like to leave a shift in a better place than where it's been started from. You know, simply for your colleagues coming on to the start of their 12.5-hour shift, because that's a mammoth journey for them. It is important that we try and leave the department in a nice state.
And with Casualty under control, Sister Jane heads home for now. But the doors to Casualty stay open 24/7. Next time on Casualty 24/7.
Gentleman's got a single stab wound to the centre of his chest. You ready?
Right, you ready to rock and roll?
How bad is the pain at the minute?
It's a good aid.
Oh, no.
And new Casualty 24/7 continues on Thursday the 15th of December at 9. New next Monday at 9, expect the unexpected as we clock in with the Gloucestershire's elite busy cops for an action-packed police night shift 999. In a brand new Channel 5 true crime documentary, we reveal the untold story about the man who took Shannon Matthews. Don't miss that Thursday at 9. Next tonight, 999 Critical Condition.